Hey everybody, welcome to GARDNSOUND 365. My name is Gardner and this is the show where we write music every single day for a year. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video on time signatures and time changes and how to do that sort of thing in Ableton. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. There will of course be a link at the end of this video and there's also one in the description down below. Definitely don't want to miss out showing how to count different meters and how to use multiple meters and multiple time changes in a song. Today we're going to be looking at how to make chill trap. Now this is a video that I've been holding off on for a while because I kind of wanted to get the style down for the how-to series and I wanted to look better on camera, honestly. So now that we've got things looking good, we've got me looking good, we've got the room looking good, let's get into how to make chill trap. Now when I say chill trap, there's a couple of songs that might come to mind. What I'm kind of talking about is that Alan Walker faded style, kind of between house and something more down tempo that you would think of like hard trap, like Black Tiger Sex Machine, or you know, something like Apache. But what we're going to be doing today is just making a really chill out trap song. This could get confused with progressive trap, and I'm going to be using elements of progressive trap. So for today's conversation, for the sake of this video, let's consider progressive trap and chill trap the same thing, because honestly, it's the same technique, but just different changes in timbre depending on the instrument and synthesizer that you're using. Just a quick reminder, I will be giving away this project file as well as most of my how to make project files to everybody who follows me on Patreon. So if you're a follower on Patreon, you can expect this tonight. Alright, so to make chill trap, I normally go to a tempo of 140. So we're going to key that in, and then I'm just going to start dragging samples here and making a decent beat, alright? So let's see here, just generic samples. It's this J Dilla kick, but in order to make it a little bit more trappy, what I'm going to do is roll off the end a little bit so it'll sound more like this. I don't want those sounds at the very end. Okay, so let me explain what I've done here. We've got a basic pattern that has a kick, 3 different threes, because they're not all snares, but they all happen on the third beat of whatever respective measure we're counting. So 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm calling threes for. 3 different types of threes, a clap, a snare, and water. We'll get to those in a second. And then I've got 2 hi-hat tracks that are alternating similar patterns, but they have different timbres, okay? So these hats are distinctly different. What I'm actually about to do to these hats that I forgot to do is do a little bit of high passing right before the reverb happens. So give me just a second here. So that's what we've got. Now the important thing here is actually the threes. So it's important that we have only the water sound happening on the second measure, right? So listen to this. That's a clap and a snare together to give it a little bit of punch, and you'll notice that these waveforms don't exactly line up, and that's to get that splatter effect, similar to what I talked about in my deadmau5 video. If you haven't seen my deadmau5 series about how to make music like him, go check that out too. Splatter effect. And you only want that pop sound to happen on the second time. So every 2, you're gonna have that pop. Now the next thing we're gonna do is put a little bit of harmony in here. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of progressive house synthesizers, a little bit of my deadmau5 synthesizer. Again, I'm sorry to plug it, but if you haven't seen my deadmau5 series, you need to go check it out. I showed how to make this particular instrument. I've also given this instrument away once or twice before on my Discord server. If you're not part of that, go join up. What I'm gonna do is put a little bit of harmony in here, and you gotta kind of have a certain rhythm. For chill trap, I like to have a dun 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 dun, that kind of a rhythm. So I'm going to be going for something like that, but I also want to change different chords. I'm hearing something in my head that starts on ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-bum-bum. That's my tonal center. Put in a loop here, and we'll start working from there. What note is that? What note are we at? Ha. I think it's an A. Nope. A flat, which is fitting. I'm hearing na 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 na. idea to make this a lot more interesting. Polyrhythm. We'll go over that in a minute. Alright, so here's our basic chord stacks. All these are either 7 chords or inversions of 7 chords. There's nothing going into post-tonal, nothing going into 20th century theory here. This is all romantic theory. So what we've got here are a couple of chords, and they sound like this. And then, back around. Those are our 4 chords. Pretty simple. Now what I've done is I have a walking bass line, and what would make this a lot more interesting is every other chord I could do a polyrhythm. Let's check this out. So we have dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. That's our phrase. That's our rhythmic phrase. Repeats every bar. How about instead every other phrase I went bum 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 bum. I'll show you right now. Like that. Give me a second. It's gonna sound a lot more interesting. Alright, so that's one part of making a chill trap song. The next thing we need is a subwoofer or a hover pad. I do have a subwoofer that I'd like to go ahead and use. It is called GARDNSOUND. Let's see here, GARDNSOUND Stubby. Yeah, that's it. Let's have a little bit more release on it. There we go. Copy this and duplicate it down. And I'm going to remove everything except for the bottom line, because I want that to be my sub bass. You want the bass to be going the entire time, so I've filled in the holes there if you didn't see what I did. Now what I'm going to be doing is turning this up a teeny bit. I'm going to add a little bit of saturation, and then I'm going to add something very important. So what I'm about to add to both the progressive house track and to the sub, which I should relabel these, just a sidechain compressor. I'm going to be adding this to both. Let's start with the progressive synth. I'm going to be adding this sidechaining from the kick, and it should be sounding something like this. You want it to be pretty severe too. You want it to almost cut off the sound entirely. I'm going to do that for both the prog synth and the sub. I want them to be identical. Now, I'm going to be adding a little bit of Pro Q to the bass just to make sure that I roll off those high clicks. I don't want to hear those in my track. The rest of this is just going to be composition, not necessarily how to make chill trap. These are the core components. A sub, a good progressive house synth, a nice sort of water drop noise on every other clap or every other 3, and you also want to have a snare and a clap with a nice hi-hat pattern, lots of reverb, lots of washed outness. Again, I'm going to be giving this particular project away to my Patreon supporters, so if you're following me on Patreon, you can expect to see this tonight. What I'm going to do from here is similar to yesterday's video, a little bit of time lapse, and that's the end of the video. And this is going to be more or less what my videos are going to be like on a bi-weekly basis after 365 is done, just to answer some questions. I felt like it would be good to say, hey, here's what the quality is going to look like. If you've enjoyed this, stick around, plenty more to come. Very special episode tomorrow on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, America.